The motorcycle hasn't even passed yet, and your dog is already alert. His ears lift, his body stiffens. His eyes lock onto the street, as if something important has just entered his world. Then it happens. The engine roars, the vibration cuts through the air, and in a fraction of a second you're calm. Relaxed dog transforms into a focused, reactive, high-energy pursuer. He runs, barks, lunges, and reacts with an intensity that feels sudden, exaggerated, and sometimes even confusing to the human watching. But here's the truth most people never realize. Your dog is not chasing the motorcycle because he hates it. He is responding to a complex psychological trigger deeply rooted in instinct, perception, and neurological interpretation of fast-moving stimuli. To understand this behavior, we have to step inside the canine mind, not from a human emotional perspective, but from a sensory and instinctual one. Dogs do not experience the world the way humans do. Their reality is built around patterns, movement, sound frequencies, territorial awareness, and survival interpretation. When a motorcycle enters their environment, it is not perceived as a vehicle with a rider commuting somewhere. Instead, the canine brain processes it as a fast, loud, unpredictable moving object that invades their sensory field with sudden intensity. That combination alone is enough to activate multiple instinctive circuits at the same time. First, there's the sound. Motorcycle engines produce sharp, irregular, and high-intensity vibrations that are far more stimulating to a dog's auditory system than normal environmental noise. Dogs hear frequencies and sound layers humans barely notice, meaning the mechanical roar of an engine is not just loud to them. It is layered, aggressive, and neurologically intrusive. The moment that sound approaches, the dog's brain shifts from a resting state into a heightened alert mode. This is not a conscious decision. It is an automatic neurological response designed to detect potential threats or high-priority stimuli. Then comes the movement. Fast, linear motion is one of the strongest instinctual triggers in canines. Across evolutionary history, sudden movement has often meant prey, danger, or intrusion. A motorcycle passing at speed creates a perfect visual stimulus. Rapid trajectory, consistent direction, and strong motion contrast against a static environment. To a dog perception system, this is not neutral motion. It is biologically significant motion. And biologically significant motion activates pursuit instincts, even in domesticated dogs who have never hunted in their lives. But the behavior goes even deeper than sound and motion. There is also the territorial interpretation. Dogs are highly sensitive to their perceived space. Whether they live in a house, apartment, or yard, they mentally map their environment as controlled territory. When a loud, fast object suddenly enters a territory and then leaves just as quickly, the brain may interpret as an intrusion event. This triggers a defensive and investigative reaction. Barking, running, and chasing are not random acts of aggression. They are attempts to respond to a perceived invasion of space, combined with unresolved stimulus movement. Another psychological factor is unpredictability. Unlike pedestrians or slow-moving cars, motorcycles often appear abruptly and disappear quickly. This unpredictability creates a cognitive gap in the dog's processing system. The brain cannot fully categorize the stimulus before it is already gone. And when a stimulus cannot be fully understood, the mind remains in an alert loop, reinforcing reactive behavior over time. This is why some dogs begin reacting even before the motorcycle is close. Their memory builds an association between the sound signature and the expected visual stimulus. This leads us to conditioning. If a dog has reacted to motorcycles multiple times, even unintentionally, the brain begins forming a learned pattern. Sound equals movement. Movement equals chase response. Chase response equals emotional release. Over time, this loop strengthens. The behavior becomes faster, more intense, and more automatic, not because the dog is becoming more aggressive, but because the neurological pathway is becoming more efficient through repetition. There's also a powerful emotional component involved. When a high-stimulation event occurs, adrenaline rises. For dogs, chasing is not only instinctual, but also neurologically rewarding. The act of running, barking, and reacting releases internal stimulation that can feel engaging to the brain. This does not mean the dog is enjoying the motorcycle itself. It means the internal activation state becomes self-reinforcing. The brain remembers the intensity, and intensity becomes a pattern the mind is ready to repeat. Interestingly, many dogs who chase motorcycles are otherwise calm and balanced in daily life. This confuses many owners because the behavior appears selective. But this selectivity actually confirms the psychological trigger theory. The reaction is not about general aggression. It is about specific sensory overload combined with instinct activation. A quiet environment does not trigger the same neural cascade as a sudden, loud, fast-moving object. Visual contrast also plays a role. Motorcycles are smaller and faster than cars, creating sharper motion contrast in the dog's visual field. Their unpredictable engine sounds, varying speeds, and narrow shape make them harder to categorize visually. The brain responds more intensely to stimuli it cannot easily predict or classify. From a psychological perspective, unpredictability equals importance, and importance equals attention. Now consider anticipation. Some dogs begin reacting before the motorcycle is even visible. This happens because their auditory memory recognizes the sound signature from a distance. Once the brain associates that sound with a past high-stimulation event, it prepares the body in advance. Ears lift, muscles tense, breathing changes, and attention narrows. The reaction is already unfolding internally before the external event fully arrives. Another overlooked layer is frustration psychology. The motorcycle moves fast and escapes quickly. The dog never completes the chase. This incomplete behavioral loop can create repeated attempts to chase in future encounters. From the brain's perspective, the stimulus was never fully resolved. So each new encounter becomes another attempt to respond, investigate, and process the same unresolved trigger. Environmental context matters as well. Dogs living near busy streets, open gates, or high-noise areas are exposed to more frequent stimulus cycles. This repetition strengthens neural anticipation and shortens reaction time. The dog does not wait to evaluate. It reacts instantly because past experiences have already categorized the stimulus as high priority. It is also important to understand that this reaction is not always fear-based. In many cases, it is a mix of alertness, instinct, territorial awareness, and stimulation overload. The emotional expression may look like aggression, but psychologically it is often a complex activation response rather than a hostile intention. The dog is not thinking in moral or emotional labels like humans do. He is reacting to sensory input through instinct-driven interpretation systems. Body language during the chase reveals a lot about the internal state. A forward-leaning posture, focused gaze, and rapid barking indicate high arousal rather than calculated aggression. The movement is reactive, not strategic. The dog is not planning. He is responding in real time to a sensory event that overwhelms multiple perception channels simultaneously. There's also a neurological speed factor. Dogs process motion faster than humans visually. This means a motorcycle's speed and direction are perceived more dynamically in their visual cortex. What looks like a quick pass to a human can feel like an intense motion event to a dog's sensory system. That heightened perception amplifies the urgency of the reaction. Finally, we must consider the emotional resolution stage. Once the motorcycle disappears, the dog often remains alert for several seconds or even minutes. This lingering alertness is the brain returning gradually from a high stimulation state back to baseline. The nervous system does not instantly reset. It slowly releases tension after the perceived stimulus has left the environment. So when your dog runs after a motorcycle, barks intensely, and reacts with explosive energy, you are not witnessing random behavior or irrational aggression. You are watching instinct, sensory perception, territorial mapping, conditioning, and neurological activation all happening within seconds. It is a deeply psychological response shaped by evolution, environment, memory, and emotional processing. And the next time you see your dog suddenly shift from calm to hyper-alert the moment a motorcycle passes, remember this. In his mind, it is not just a vehicle on the street. It is a fast, loud, unpredictable stimulus entering his sensory world. triggering instincts that were designed long before modern cities ever existed.